Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, you can call us at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Hey, so I want to talk to you about the LinkedIn post I put up this morning. And it is that success is simple but not easy. That's actually one of the BOLD laws. What does BOLD stand for, Adrienne?
It is a training that we've taken many times.
Yeah,
and
Keller Williams.
Yep. And it's Business Objective Life by Design.
Yeah. And they have
it's
about
just-
what, 30? I think there's 32 BOLD laws. One of them is success is simple but not easy. What's your interpretation of that first part? Success is simple. What does that mean to you?
I would say that it's just doing those little boring things
Yeah.
over and over in those habits.
Yeah.
And, the but not easy is like, sometimes it's boring and
Yeah.
you're like, why am I doing this over and over again? And it's all those little things that we do, those little habits
That are simple.
that equal the success. And in fact, there was an agent who I spoke with this morning.
Yeah.
She applied to be on our team. And I think, as a new agent, and she was in a different market,
Yeah.
she felt like she was doing all the things, but wasn't getting the traction quickly enough. And I reassured her, like, you keep doing these things and you will get the results.
Yeah. And what about the it's not easy part?
It's not easy. It's just
Yeah.
like you gotta stay the path.
Yeah.
Stop getting distracted. Do those little things.
Yeah.
Those little habits.
Well, what it means to be easy is that there are a lot of things that you can do to be successful, and they're not easy in the fact that the individual tasks are very easy. Where people run into challenges is focus and staying on task, especially with my agents. With our agents, we teach, touch our database every day, add to it, follow up, master follow up, and be accountable to communication and showing up early and on time and responsive to your existing clients. And that's it. It's not any more complicated than that. And what I did is I put in my post, it amazes me that people will work 40 hours a week for an hourly wage, yet won't dedicate the same disciplined scheduled time to mastering commission sales. The good news about commission sales is you make your own schedule. The bad news about commission sales is you make your own schedule. What does that mean, Adrienne?
Well, that you can just do something else. Like there's nobody holding you accountable as far as where
you're
you
not
need
gonna
to
get
be.
fired.
Yep.
Well,
Well, you might get fired by a client.
You're not going to get fired in the short term, but eventually you will. If you had a job and you showed up, first week you showed up late every single day, starting from Monday, what's going to happen Friday?
Fired.
You're fired. The challenge with commission sales is that that space between Monday and Friday may be years before you figure it out. And so for us, we're kind of like a place of employment where we have specific recommendations that you do for us to get our support.
Well, we have standards, right? The standards.
Yeah, they're not required, the recommendations. And if you don't do them, then we are not required to keep you on the team.
And we are not required to send you appointments or give you new leads.
So if you think you're a person that's like sick and tired of just doing the grind every 40 weeks, getting the same paycheck, maybe a little bump in pay over time, looking for the weekends and all that good stuff, and you want more flexibility and an unlimited income potential, all you got to do is go to hawaiicareernight.com, hawaiicareernight.com. What are they going to see if they click on that website?
Our next career night, which is, what is it? It's in September. It's the first Monday in September. You can sign up there. And if you want to get started right away, there's a link to get started now. Or you can just go to jointeamlally.com.
Well, getting started with the process now is jointeamlally.com. Just dipping a toe in and checking out our career night. At our career night, we're going to tell you what kind of money and time it takes to get into real estate. We're going to tell you what kind of time and money it takes to be successful. And we're going to tell you what kind of time you're going to need to invest and what kind of income you're looking at if you're going to be operating in the top 1% of realtors. For Adrienne and I, it's super simple. If you want to learn what top 1% agents do, have top 1% agents leading you and teaching you how. And that's what we do. All
That's
right.
right. All right. So speaking of top people, top talent,
Yeah.
we've got Danny Langerman on with his mortgage tip of the week. Danny's from DHA Financial.
Hey.
Hi, Danny.
Danny, what you got for us?
So today I just wanted to talk a little bit about the closing time frame when it comes to purchase closings. There's a lot of lenders out there, and realtors for that matter, are given 30 to 45 day closing time periods within an additional days. Usually to go ahead and have as a buffer. And so I just wanted to let you know that for us, obviously everything's got to go the way it should go for a closing, but we like to shoot for 3 weeks. And so if that's the case, obviously we'll do everything we can to get it done within that time period. So typically if it goes past that, we'll let you know. And there's some things that you just don't have control over. No one, in our industry does, like the appraisals or even the inspections. But our goal is always to shoot for a good 3 week time period closing.
I would say like escrows, the longer they go, the shorter they go. It's just like house guests. House guests are just like fish. The longer they stay, the better it get, the worse it gets. And so just like an escrow, when you have a long time, there's a lot of moving parts, right, Adrienne? When you have a long timeline for closing, is there more probability that stuff comes up, broken refrigerators, somebody's financing changes, something happens with interest rates. There's just a lot of variables that can happen over a longer period of time that can cause the escrow to fall apart.
That's right. So the shorter the timeline, the better.
Yeah.
And and also if you are, a buyer and you're putting an offer in on a vacant home, I'm sure that seller would appreciate a faster closing versus a longer closing, because that's less mortgage payments and carrying costs and the things that can happen, right? Because as soon as you put that home on the market, it seems like appliances start breaking.
Appliances, they're listening like, oh, we're putting it on the market. We're going to start breaking now. The other thing, too, that I'll tell people is that this is not a bum's rush to get you guys to do something and make a quick, unintelligent decision. Still do your due diligence. I always say with human beings, here's the deal. Here's a rule of thumb with human beings. If I gave you an hour to just do a simple task, would you get it done? If I gave you 30 minutes, and it's a simple task, would you get it done in 30 minutes?
I would.
And if I gave you 15, 10, 5, simple tasks.
Yeah.
But the human nature is, if I gave you an hour, you would take the hour. But if I gave you 5 minutes, you get it done. So that's all we're telling you, is the same due diligence and stuff, but reduce the probability of something going sideways, get it done sooner than later. And this is the benefit for both sides, buyer and seller. Danny, anything else?
No, that's it, guys.
Okay.
Thanks, Danny.
Quick close. Call Danny.
All right. That's Danny Langerman with DHA Financial. He is an expert we trust. You can find him under the resource tab with all the other experts we trust.
Are we going to talk about permits next?
Yes. So we've got another expert.
Yes.
We have Janice Merlin from Dream House Drafting. She is our expert on design, building,
permits.
Yeah. And she's going to talk about a nightmare today.
Department of Planning and Permitting.
A nightmare that we want to all learn from and avoid. So, Janice, welcome back to the show. And what do you have for us today?
What you got for us this week?
Thanks, Adrienne. You guys asked me for a tip. I was trying to think of a concise little statement. So I'm saying today, verify. Don't rely on what others tell you.
Gotcha.
Basically, we know prices have been high forever.
Yeah.
Our market out here is, ever increasing in value. And unfortunately, even though Permit Check has been open for 14 years this year, we've only cleared 4 properties in all of that time of 100%. Everything is permitted, no issues in all that time.
Yeah, and those 4 properties, Iolani Palace, the governor's house, the mayor's house, and the city manager's house. Just those 4 places. That's it on the entire state of Janice, is it true like there's a large percentage of homes that just have some form of unpermitted something or another? here on Oahu?
The guesstimate is around 80%, maybe
I've heard
even
that
higher.
percentage before. Yeah. Because I remember listening to the director of DPP was on at some broker thing, open a forum, and they were like, we're not, there's no DPP police running around, driving up and down streets going, who's got unpermitted work? There, gotcha. How, most of the time, in your experience over these last 14 years, how does it end up in DPP's lap that somebody's, where they get them where they end up sending them that love note, the notice of violation? How does that happen?
Normally, it's a neighbor complaint. And unfortunately, the overwhelming majority of them are made not on the people who were observed actually making the changes to the property, but when that for sale sign goes up and it has that little magnet on it that says sold, it's the new people that get them calling.
So do you have an example of someone who's recently gotten stuck and that you've helped?
Yes. Yeah. Last Thursday, exactly a week ago, I went and did an inspection on a property. The young couple has a notice of violation. They closed somewhere end of March, early April, somewhere thereabouts.
This year.
And to describe what's going on, a very key selling feature of the home is completely unpermitted. One of the access points to it is in the setback. And you cannot build in a setback. You cannot get a variance for building in the setback. So that will have to be demolished. From what I can see, they can get a permit for the added feature. However, the roof over that added feature is totally built wrong. It doesn't meet any structural criteria. And so it will have to be removed and rebuilt. Wow. And since the house is in Waianae, that means you don't want to be without that roof because of the heat and the need for shade.
Yeah.
In addition to that, the city allows people to build or purchase and place sheds on their property without a permit if there's one, only one, and it's less than 120 square feet. And as we've discussed on this show before, whether it's a design professional, a building inspector, or even a general contractor, things grab your eye when you're in the industry. So both in the listing photos and also when I was at the property, this quote unquote shed grabbed my eye. It looks like a cute cottage. It does not look like a shed. It even has windows with AC unit.
And then you went inside and Mary and Joseph from Wisconsin were there on vacation.
No, I went inside and
they were putting on some suntan lotion
space with an even bigger window in the back.
So it's a livable shed.
It's not a storage shed, and unfortunately, it is oversized, and the city would require a permit. If it looked like a storage shed, maybe from a distance it wouldn't grab an inspector's eye. But since there is a notice of violation, and the homeowners will have to get corrective construction and an after-the-fact building permit, an inspector's going to be on site, and they're going to see
look around.
And that little quote-unquote shed was sold to them as what they can have as the start of their future ADU, and they like the idea of the legal income earning on the property. And they even a prior listing, well, I'm not sure. I looked up a lot on this property, but I did see in writing on a listing that it was written that the property is approved by this. It has city and county approval for an ADU. But an ADU is an exception to the zoning. So there's always a pre-check process, and those things expire. And the last ADU pre-check that was applied for on that property, well, the date associated with it was 2019. And pre-checks
so it was
expire in
started
210 business days.
So it was started but not finished with this ADU.
Well, they did the pre-check and then went straight to building it.
There's no evidence of any building permit application. They got a go ahead from the city that if you apply for a permit for an ADU on this property, we will grant you the permit. That's all a pre-check is.
Yeah.
But so it expired 7 years ago.
Is this something that you can help them with, Janice? With the shed? Done? Can we turn the shed into an ADU?
Or
we can design the solution. We'd have to redo the pre-check process. We'd have to complete the design and submit the drawings into the city and county before the ADU pre-check expires in 210 days from the time the first signature goes on it. But I wouldn't recommend that they do that right now, because they have a notice of violation, and their after the fact permit is going to have triple penalties from the city and county in terms of their permit fees. And the stormwater department is going to double their plan review fee. They're also going to have the expense of corrective construction, the expense of me measuring up and putting together a set of plans. So it would be cheaper to get the property legal by making that quote unquote shed a permitted shed, or maybe we can permit it as a playroom or a rec room that's detached, and it doesn't have any plumbing in it, so it makes it fairly easy. Yeah. And then in the future, after that permit is closed, so there's no penalties attached anymore, then submit the ADU pre-check and hope that the sewer department still has adequate capacity, because that'll shut you down in a hurry. They have enough off-street parking. Their street is wide enough. There's, it's a neighborhood, so there's close enough fire hydrants. It should go through. The sewer department will be the factor. And if in these past 7 years, enough other people have applied for ADUs that the sewer system needs an upgrade and they say no, then it won't be able to be an ADU.
Now, people get all up in arms and like, this is baloney, and I think it's a pain in the butt. I will tell you right now, if you want to see places in the world that don't have this process, go to Mexico, go to the Philippines, any of the third world countries, and everybody's building whatever the heck they're building all over the place, any kind of different way, not enough infrastructure to support it. And you can smell the difference between living in the US with all these codes and those countries when it rains heavily. You can smell the difference. I'll leave it at that. And so I have an idea for them. They can do it at Airbnb, but the check-in time is 2 a.m. and checkout time is 3 a.m. In the middle of the night.
Even worse, Attilio, think about the news
They're going to get fined.
Yeah. Venezuela.
No, I know they're going online and checking the Airbnb, and if you don't have that, they'll see your TAT thing, and then they're going to match it up. There's no way around it, folks. You got to get it all legit. It's either you can do it or you can't.
And then Janice Merlin has
all legit.
She has the solution. She has the plan. She has the strategy. She's done this many times.
She's a DPP whisperer.
That's right. She has it all figured out.
Okay.
Thank you, Janice, for sharing the most recent situation with our listeners.
And the phone number for people not watching us but listening to us is 371-8031. It's the 808 number. 371-8031. Oh, wait, Auntie grabbing the pen. Pen never having. Okay, she's grabbing second pen. 371-8031. That's Dream House Drafting. Also,
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you, Janice.
Always good to
good
chat
stories.
with you.
You get the good stories.
Aloha. All right. So speaking of stories, I want to share a Google review.
Yes.
From Lucerne Dixon.
Oh, Lucerne. I remember Lucerne. Let me tell you the story with Lucerne. He was writing offers on his own for properties, and he was like getting rejected.
Property after property. It was worse than
the Bachelorette when you didn't get the rose, and none of the sellers were giving him the rose. They didn't want to. There was no second date update. He was just getting rejected, and so he called us up and he said, "Hey, can you guys help me?" And we said, "Yes, we can."
Well, actually, didn't he meet with Anthony somewhere at an open house, maybe?
Yeah, I went to, he said, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. And he'd been doing it this way for a long time.
Yes.
But the results were zero as far as getting into a home. So we finally, with our resources and proper buyer representation,
we were able to get it done.
We were able to get it done. And it's not like sellers don't take you seriously, but there's a lot of liability as a seller receiving an offer from an unrepresented person. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying that when you have licensed brokerages between you in a transaction, you've got all their liability, errors and omissions insurance, and they're the experts, supposedly.
Well, Lucerne is not like a
first-time home buyer.
No, he's far from that. Yeah. And let me just read his review. I highly recommend Anthony to anyone seeking the services of a true real estate professional.
Yeah.
He's very conscientious, has excellent communication skills, a positive can-do attitude, and was able to facilitate a purchase transaction on a beachfront property. Anthony is patient and detail-oriented, extremely important assets when conducting due diligence and dealing with contractual issues. I make this recommendation based on my experience as a California real estate broker and analyst for over 45 years.
Yeah, 45 years.
He's been analyzing real estate deals, very, very detailed oriented. So thank you, Lucerne.
My eye drifted to this next review. It's from Terry, and this is the last name, Spam Musubi. Obviously, that's a screen name, not a real name. That would be cool if your name was Spam Musubi. Then I would go up to 7-Eleven and get them all on a copyright violation for selling all that Spam Musubi without giving me royalties. Anyway, Terry Spam Musubi, thank you, Robert, for quickly assisting me in connecting me with an agent in Pahoa to sell my property. Robert was very friendly and sincere. Mahalos, and I have a special Spam Musubi with your name on it. Deluxe Teriyaki.
All right, so I'm going to share a quick little success story, and then we're going to take a break.
Okay.
All right, this one is for our clients, Steve and Harmony.
Yeah.
So this is what they had to say. We sold our Hawaii home, or already living thousands of miles away, and still got them $10,000 over asking. So Steve was in Australia.
Down under.
Yeah, Harmony was in California. They had co-owned a home together in Kapolei. They had been divorced many years before, and it was just time to sell the home. Beautiful home on the golf course. And but there was a lot of work that needed to be done to the home. There was some deferred maintenance. So
tell them the story.
Yeah, so we worked together to get the home on the market. It needed paint, sprinklers were broken, lawn was dead. There was a water feature out back that had gone murky.
Yep.
Normally, you'd walk around the property yourself, meet the contractors, point out what needs fixing. But obviously, these sellers were not necessarily on island.
Yeah.
And so we handled it.
The best
we were on the ground.
Stephen never had to fly back once. We ran the whole closing remotely, digital signatures, mobile notary, and all of it. He signed from overseas, and we took care of everything on this end.
All right, so we are going to take a break, but stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Mark Foege of Transworld Business Advisors of Hawaii. We'll discuss what business owners should know before selling their business, common mistakes that can cost them money, and how selling a business differs from selling real estate.
So stay with us, and it's Foege.
Foege.
It says right there how to pronounce Foege.
Foege.
All right, stay with us.
Hey, you know someone that moved to the mainland but left the rental property behind? So Amber wanted to create a new investment opportunities on the mainland, but she had to sell her island rental first. So she reached out to our good friends Adrienne, Lally, and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Handling the business virtually with Amber, Adrienne and Attilio came prepared with multiple 5-star selling strategies, including adjusting Amber's selling price expectations, and the home sold in days. If you're in the market to sell your home and you want a team that will make you the most money with the least amount of drama, you can trust our good friends Adrienne and Attilio of Team Lally. Give them a call today, 808-799-9596. That's 808-799-9596. They're trusted. You see their signs all over in my community. Visit teamlally.com today. That's teamlally.com today.
The only real estate team I trust right here in Honolulu is Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group. Now, thanks for joining me today. What's the number one reason homes don't sell on time?
Sean, sellers are in denial. They are stuck in the previous market and not pricing their homes properly.
How do you solve that problem?
We have a 12-step program. The first step is to have a smart pricing strategy. We follow the 10-10-0 rule. 10 showings, no offers, we have to adjust. 10 days on the market, no showings, another adjustment. For the other 11 steps, give us a call.
Great update. Thank you for keeping us informed. Put the most experience and the best marketing to work for you. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com. And you can start packing.
In today's fast-changing real estate market, you need access to the right information to make smart choices. I invest in real estate all over the country, and I rely on smart agents who know their local market inside and out. In Honolulu, I work with Adrienne Lally and Attilio Leonardi. Adrienne, Attilio, and their team sell a home every 72 hours and have over 750 five-star reviews. Go to teamlally.com and find out in just seconds what your home is really worth.
When you're trying to find the best of the best, don't settle for an agent that's just like the rest. Pick a team that knows just what to do. From buying or selling, we work hard for you. Team Lally, the best real estate in the islands. 227-2703.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrienne.
And I'm Attilio.
And if you have any questions, you can give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Well, hey, everybody. We have our guest today is Mark Foege, president of Transworld Business Advisors of Hawaii, the office of the world's largest business brokerage. Mark has spent the past 28 years helping small and mid-sized business owners navigate major financial milestones, including angel and venture capital funding. Throughout his career, he has negotiated and facilitated transactions ranging from $175,000 to $55 million.
After living and working in several places, primarily in the Seattle area, Mark fulfilled his longtime goal of making Hawaii his permanent home. 6 years ago, he relocated to open Transworld Business Advisors of Hawaii, and now represents business owners and buyers across Oahu, Maui, Kauai, and Hawaii Island. Mark holds an MBA in Finance and Marketing from Pacific Lutheran University, where he serves on the university's Executive Advisory Board. His passion is helping entrepreneurs maximize the value of what they've built and guiding them through one of the most important decisions of their business journey. Welcome, Mark. Aloha.
Yeah. Welcome.
Aloha. Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Yes,
right.
I love the we have visuals on Mark. I love your backgrounds.
Yeah.
Beautiful
That
backgrounds.
is not a fake background. I'm
No.
fortunate enough to be working from home today. So
Yeah.
What
that's
of
nice.
you?
Because the what we're seeing in the background, I think it's Hilton Hawaiian. Hilton
It
Hawaiian
is.
Village.
Yeah.
You know, you probably have an awesome view of the fireworks on Fridays.
I have a great view out that window right there.
Nice.
Yes, it's
Beautiful. All right. So talking about beautiful views, you know, Adrienne and I own multiple businesses, and we do have people coming to us all the time. And sometimes the reason why they're selling their residential property is because they're selling their business and they're moving back to the mainland or to the mainland or somewhere else.
Or to Europe. We had a recent lady with that.
That's
She was like, I'm
nice.
going to
Yeah.
Europe.
Yeah. Came here, started a business, and then she wants to move back to, I think the Ukraine or somewhere like in one of the Eastern Bloc countries. Anyway, so we sat down with her and talked about that. But we always made sure to let her know, hey, we're not experts on marketing businesses. That is a whole completely
It's a completely
different
different
practice at all.
animal.
All right.
Yep.
So listen, let's hit them high, hit them low with the very first question. Adrienne, give them the first question.
So, Mark, what are the biggest myths about selling a business?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest ones is that all I have to do is find that right buyer and everything will be great. and they'll give me the top dollar for it, as opposed to understanding that, no, you're taking your business to a market and it's going to be viewed by a broad set of people, and you want them to compete for it as opposed to one that is going to overpay for that business. So, that's probably the biggest myth. And often it comes from people that walk into a business and will comment to the owner, wow, this looks like a gold mine. This must be great. I bet it's worth X. And they get a different point of view from that, and they carry that forward and don't have a realistic view as they walk into the sale of the company.
Yeah, so and then I'll play back the video before they walk in the door. It's like one of those boba tea places, and the husband and the wife are like, I am so sick of boba. I got boba coming out of my ears. I got boba's coming out of everywhere. I don't like these boba. But then you walk in and they're busy and they're, so people got to really take a look at and uncover. I think for a lot of people, for Adrienne and I, we as business owners, we know that there's a difference between a business owner and a business operator. And if you're an operator where you're a key function in the business, you're not selling a business, you're selling a job. That's
often very true. Yes.
Back to the value, though. Like just like in residential sales or the sales of anything,
you always think it's worth more.
No, I mean, you get the appraised value, right? You have the appraised value of the business, and you can get different numbers from different appraisers, and that's based on the income that the business generates and expenses and all of that. But then there's the market value and the demand for that kind of business. So Mark, when you see these businesses that have had business appraisals and then, once it goes to market, how often are they in alignment? Like, how do you determine the difference between the appraised value versus market value?
How are you advising people to coming up with the value besides appraisals?
So, when we start down that path and we have that conversation with them, we start by saying, this is what a buyer is most likely to look at within your business. And, they will often have the misconception that it's based on a multiple of their top line revenue. And that's very off. What we do is we will construct what's referred to as a seller's discretionary earnings, or SDE. And with Main Street businesses, a multiple of SDE is much more a predictor of what buyers are willing to pay for that. And generally, the definition of that is, how strong is the economic engine and what is accruing to the owner as a result of that? So you have both direct and indirect ways that it's benefiting the seller or benefiting the owner. So, what he pays himself and what the company's earnings, but also the other things that he's living out of the business with. So the vacation that it pays for, the other benefits, maybe one of his vehicles or her vehicles. And you pull that together and that gives you a seller's discretionary earnings. And then you compare that to how has the SDE for similar businesses in similar locations been relative to the sales price in a relevant period of time. That is a much better predictor of what the market is going to look at than anything else.
Yeah, you said top line sales because people are like, oh yeah, my business generates $1 million in sales every year and has $950,000 in expenses. And I'm like, I would make more money working at 7-Eleven with a little bit of overtime than owning your business right now. And so it's always like when you drop down to it, we hear stuff like net operating income and, after you minus out everything else, what are you left with? Because profitability, we ask this question, Adrienne, what is the purpose of a business?
To make money.
And specifically to be profitable.
Yeah.
That is the purpose of a business, is to make money, be profitable. Another question,
if you're excited about a business from the top line revenue, that's kind of like buying a car because you like the paint job. The reality is it's an economic engine that you're buying and you want to know how strong that engine is.
Okay.
So before we move on to the next question, I do want to also go back to your strategy as far as, and the mindset of the business owner that's selling, where you're saying they think about, there's just going to be one buyer. Now you're saying, no, we want to have multiple buyers. We want them to be bidding against each other. What would you say is a reasonable amount of, offers that you will collect? And, how do you manage that? It's like an auction. I'm curious.
I will take everyone that I can get. Yeah. And I've had deals that have varied from, we were lucky to get one offer, to deals where I had 7 or 8 competing to get offers in on time. So
Gotcha.
I will take everyone that I can get from every place that I can get. Absolutely.
All right. What are the mistakes that business owners make before selling that cost them money? And I'll share a quick story. My grandfather was from back in the Depression era. He's an Italian guy from Boston, always doing a hustle. He's like, Attilio, you know, there's 2 books. One book's for me and one book's for the government. And I'm like, Grandpa, but, you know, that was old school, you know, right? You got 2 sets of books. And what I find is a lot of business owners, they take all these write-offs. And
above the line and below the line.
And then you're looking at the business and I'm like, what the heck? This is like your personal bank account and it's not really making any money. And then when they go to sell, this business makes plenty of money. So back to that one, just more funny context stories, but what mistakes do business owners make before selling that can cost them money?
So certainly having books that aren't reflective of the organization and what it does can be a problem. Now, that being said, I don't begrudge any owner for paying as little taxes as he possibly can. And that means driving as much cost into his business as possible in order to bring down its profitability and pay lower taxes. That being said, you still have to have records of all of those things. And as we were talking about with SDE, those are add backs that we get to use as long as you have records of those. So that's one of those things. But I think another is just getting personally tied up in the business to the sense that you want to feel important to the business. And business owners will often throw themselves into situations where only they can solve it. And they don't grow the people around them to be self-reliant or to be people that could operate the business if they had to step away for a while. And ideally, you want that business to operate completely without you, and that becomes the trade-off. It's like, well, if I had a business that could operate completely without me, why would I sell it? Good question.
Exactly.
However, that's also the one that's most likely to sell, is one that is not dependent upon you in order to drive its activities.
I think, in our business, and we feel like we went to a mastermind and they talk about professionalizing businesses, and Adrienne and I have done that with the multiple businesses, and that you talked about it earlier. The owner cannot be the information silo. If the owner stepped off a curb and got hit by the bus, everybody's scrambling. What are the security codes? Where are the keys? Where's the this?
How do I do this? How do I do that?
How do you supply this? How do you, what's the little thingamajigger over there that makes the shave ice? And nobody can figure it out because only the owner knew. And then you have a business that you might as well just shut it down. So
and they have done a very good job of creating a very important job for themselves, but they've reduced the value of what can be sold as an asset when they're done with it.
So Mark, as part of your service and your expertise, when a business owner, expresses the desire to sell the business, are these some of the things that you help them with? Do you coach them and give them like a checklist on what they need to get going in order to maximize their sale price?
Yeah.
How does that look?
So we very specifically, we will have a reality check with them before we ever engage with them. And we will go through, we'll put an NDA in place and we'll get their financials. And then we'll go through a quick thumbnail. Here's where we think that value is going to be. And if that doesn't match up with them, then we have a discussion about, all right, how does your business get to the point where you need to be or where you want it to be? And what are some of the things that are going to drive that? So we will have that very real world conversation with them, because if we take them to market and all we get is a bunch of, offers that don't meet their expectations, neither one of us is happy. So we try to make sure that we are doing that upfront, setting an expectation, giving them a real world check on what their business is worth, and then talking about, if it's not worth what you want it to be, what it's going to take to get them.
Yeah.
So that's good that you give them some coaching to prepare the business for sale. So with that being said, how far in advance should a business owner be meeting?
Sitting down with you to get educated?
What would be the time frame
on the business selling process?
We have a tendency to talk to owners right when they decide we want to sell, not when they think, hey, we think we want to sell. It would be great to have conversations with people 3 years ahead of where they thought that was going to be. we have fewer of those than you might think, unfortunately. We tend to get people right at the stage where they're like, I need to get out, I'm done, I'm tired, etc. So
I think one of the things that we've learned, through our experience with business is that you want to, when you're starting a business, you have to start with the exits, right? And understanding what is the exit plan for the business. And, whenever that is, whether it's, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, but having that exit plan and knowing who's going to be that ideal buyer, or having an idea of how that exit's going to go. So if you're a business owner and you're listening, whether you're thinking about selling the business now or 5 years or 10 years, I don't think it's ever too early to sit down and just have a strategy session.
Well, the other thing I would put out there, if you give us a call, we're always looking to get involved with different businesses, mostly in the home services industry, and we'll help you what we call professionalize your business and
make it worth more.
And make it worth more because, Mark, do you find that this is true? 80 to 90% of the systems and processes of running the business are the same, whether you're selling a shave ice or you got a quickie mart. It's all the same as far as your SOPs, your systems, your processes, your back end, and your bookkeeping, all of that.
And what you're keeping track of, exactly. Your top line revenue, what goes through your point of sale or your billing system, what is your cost of goods sold, all of those things that you're tracking. Yes, they fall into the same categories along the way. Now, I should point out, that's often a foreign language to someone that starts their business. They often don't start a business because they want a business. They start it because they have a passion for that particular thing, that type of food, that particular service that they do, that particular product that they create that no one else can do it and they can do it in a special way. That's why they get involved. So it's not their fault that they're not necessarily ready for that. It's just that hasn't been their focus. So they've been more of an accidental tourist when it came to being a business person. They were really a food person, or they were a product person, or they were a service person that chose to go down this path.
Yeah. And so the value of your business is going to go right into the toilet if I say, let me take a look at your books, and you pull out this shoebox.
It's messy.
Receipts.
We got to get it all cleaned up and organized.
And there's some bubble gum in there, some chopsticks, and that's your QuickBooks.
Okay, so
it's not going to be too valuable.
So Mark, what is your favorite part of working with business owners?
In particular, I love working with business owners in Hawaii because so many of them are about passing along, or when they sell the company, it's about passing along what they do to share aloha. We have a lot of wonderful businesses in Hawaii that are about sharing special flavors, sharing special activities, sharing things that really are unique to what you can experience in Hawaii. And often, if they don't get with someone that can help them sell that business will simply go out of business. And so I find it really rewarding, especially if we can keep sharing that kind of aloha with visitors or with locals in terms of what it's doing. So that's a very special thing to me, and it's very rewarding to maintain those things.
My favorite kind of aloha is the one that fills up my checking account. Big fat payday.
Okay, so on to our final question. What is different about selling a business in Hawaii versus selling one on the mainland?
Yes.
What's the biggest differences?
It's very typical in a mainland market to have locals that will buy the business. And for every 10 that are sold in, let's pick a name, Portland, roughly 8 of those are going to be sold to someone that's already local in the market. In Hawaii, that number is very different, drastically different. It's more like 3 or 4 out of 10 are going to be sold to someone local. We are an attractive market. We are a place people want to live. So it's a place that the mainland pays attention to, and it considers it aspirational. But it's not just the mainland. We're also aspirational to many foreign markets, and this is a market that drives E2 visa applications because they can use that to facilitate being here. Plenty of conversations start with, I want my daughter to go to Punahou, and so therefore I need a business in Hawaii. So that's one of the things that's a little bit different here, in that we have to have a broader reach when it comes to potential buyers, simply because that's who wants to do that. So it's not enough just to network locally. we have to be well connected with the mainland buyers and with international buyers as well. So having a local presence is important, but we also have to have global reach.
Yeah, we went to a training session a couple of years ago. The guy was in charge of the KTA markets. They're not on Oahu, but it's a local grocer on, I think, Big Island.
Yep.
And they do really well. And what he had talked about was that you need, for business owners from the mainland or people from the mainland in general, is that you need to get a little bit of instruction on the cultural differences that we have here in Hawaii. Because, people, you're given a choice between a coffee shop in Idaho, Boise, Idaho, and one on the North Shore. That's a completely different environment, weather-wise and all of that. But then culturally, it's a different thing here. And I think he had a great one-day training program on that was awesome. But yeah, you got to get to know, like, hey, your staff might be wearing flip-flops, as they say in the mainland, or slippers. And you got to figure out, is that going to be something that you're okay with? And if you're not, is it going to alienate your workforce? And then they all want to quit. The last boss came in board shorts and a tank top. So, but
being not only culturally aware, but sensitive to all of that. It's very easy to come from the mainland and think, oh, I know more. I'm simply going to apply it to the smaller market. That's not how it works here. You have to come with a humble heart. You have to ask questions rather than try to tell people things. And and that's a much better way to approach things.
Yeah.
So, Mark, as we wrap things up, is there anything that we should have asked you or you wanted to talk about with us and have our listeners to hear as we wrap things up with you?
I think there's one thing that I was just passed along. There is an assumption that selling a business is a lot like selling a home. And although there's some parallels in the process and some of the words that get used, it's very different in terms of how public that is. A house, you want everybody to know that house is for sale. Yep. When a business is for sale, it needs to stay confidential. Yeah, because your employees, your suppliers, your competitors, your customers, all them knowing that the company is for sale, all of those can negatively impact what you're doing. So it has to be handled in a very different way. And so never assume that it's exactly the same thing as selling a home.
Sounds like there's got to be a very specific strategy, and there's a rhyme and a reason behind everything and every step that you guys take together, right?
Absolutely.
And I think you're not going to, just like in residential real estate, one little parallel, people think you just put up some for sale sign by owner in your front yard and you're going to make it all happen. And then we say, and I call those people and I say, so how are you vetting people? What information are you sharing with them? And how are you verifying that they have funds? How are you verifying that they're a legitimate buyer? And then they pause and stuff like that. And so
there's a lot of moving parts in both the business sale world as well as the residential,
so as
well as commercial. There's but they're different. But there's a lot of moving parts.
Shave Ice Shop, you have no expertise in selling a business. Hire an expert. That's going to be Mark with Transworld Business, 237-2480, 237-2480. You charge like thousands of dollars for an initial consultation, or is the first call free?
First call's free, and we actually do that valuation for free too.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. So if you think about it, I'll tell you right now, it's hard to find business brokers in Hawaii. So I'm glad we came cross paths and got you on the show, because people are like, I think a lot of them make the big mistake of having the realtor do it. And we've been doing real estate for 20 years, over $1 billion in sales. We will not touch
not
marketing a business with a 50-foot pole.
Not our lane.
We'll call Mark.
Yes, we'll call Mark.
Call Mark. Who are you going to call? Call Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Aloha.
Aloha.
All right. That was Mark with Transworld Business. And you can call him again at 237-2480.
Now, a couple of things I want to share with you, a little bit of stats from the Small Business Association. 99% of businesses are small businesses in Hawaii. I mean, in the United States, 36.2 million. Small businesses are nearly half of the private workforce. Small businesses generate almost half of the U.S. economy. And the last one, starting a business is risky, but surviving is achievable. So you just got to get the right coaching and all of that good stuff.
All right. So we've got some open houses before we wrap up the show. We've got 2 on Saturday from 2 to 5.
All right. First one's at 91 1526 Kaikohala Street. This is in Ewa Beach.
This is the gated community over in Ho'okalei.
Yes. And asking is 1268.
Brand new carpet.
4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 2,000 square feet. They did some power washing. Next one's in Waianae, 87269 Mikana Street.
885.
885.
4-bedroom, 2 bath, a little over 2,000 square feet. Fully remodeled, split level home with AC, solar, water heater, hardwood flooring, mountain views. Convenient access to beaching, hiking, and shopping.
Next one is Manu'u in Waianae.
That's on
Manu'u
Sunday.
Street.
These are moving on to Sunday. Yes.
Sunday. 87609. If you're passing by tomorrow's, look for the sign. You're just going to take that street, that sign down there, and go back there. Oh, sorry,
that's wrong.
We got so many of these. Never mind. Stop by tomorrow's, get some spam musubi, but keep going.
This one is Manu'u a 10-bedroom, 4.5 bath, 3,600 square foot. Expansive multi-generational home with.
Let me repeat that. 10 bedrooms, 4.5 bath. The next one is Nohonani Place. This one's in Kaneohe. 45212. This is another big house.
7 bedrooms.
Monster home sale.
5,000 square feet.
Yep, big. This one got a big lot. They do have an emu pit on this one. I've seen it. I walked it. Big lot with a lot of family on there, all spread out so you guys don't drive each other crazy. Last one, 87919 Ho'okalei Street. This one's back in Waianae, 849. Give them the bed.
3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 1,500 square feet. It's a custom rebuilt home with vaulted ceilings, premium finishes, powerful split AC, and a detached bonus living space offering flexible use potential.
Yep.
All right. So come visit us at some open houses this weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, and thank you to our sponsors.
Bradley with Allstate Insurance.
Kenji at Pillar to Post Home Inspections.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke of Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Robinson with Fine Line Paintworks.
Amphi of Estate Planning Group.
Jason Wu, Attorney at Law.
Janice of Dream House Drafting.
Fabio with Hawaii Water Damage Restoration.
Kyle of Impact Wealth.
Brian with Cleanscape.
Benji of Hawaii Referral Agent.
Danny, DHA Mortgage.
Joseph, Locksmith of Hawaii.
And Christopher of Falcon Services. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, all you got to do is go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Hans, our producer.
Chee-hoo.
Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed
sold program. If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash.
Thanks and aloha.